What if your next transfer could fly you home to Cameroon? Prince has already won our iPhone 16 giveaway with MoneyFX.
I just received my iPhone from Amazon. You can see it's still set. Okay, let me just open and then we'll see. There you go. It's my brand new iPhone.
Now it's your turn to win an £800 round-trip flight ticket to Cameroon. Every £100 or €100 you send with MoneyFX gives you one entry into the draw. The more you send, the higher your chances. And you still enjoy better exchange rates and faster transfers. Send now with MoneyFX for your chance to win. MoneyFX, send smarter, send with love.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on Young Professionals Mentorship. I'm very sorry for the late delay. As you can see, we had some technical issues because this is the first time we're going live on another channel. So for housekeeping, I would just like to let everyone attending this webinar know that we're being live streamed onto Do Media. So if you don't want to be seen, please have your camera off. And can everybody be on mute while the speakers are talking? Thank you very much. And so this initiative of our Professional Young Mentorship webinar is led by Dr. Asakonkwo, and he's not present at the moment. We have a series of professionals to talk to us about their careers. They're going to guide us on how they got there, what advice they can give us on their careers, and also the possibility of mentorship. So I've got a co-moderator who is Dr. Eugenie Mompo, who will be helping us in the chat. If you have any questions, please put on the chat. Our first speaker is Dr. Louis Anekego. He's a tech and media entrepreneur whose work connects Africa, Asia, and Europe. He is the founder of KeyBank, a digital banking service empowering everyday financial access, such as MoneyFX, a global remittance platform, Technofex, a software development company, and Do Culture Limited, a media and content company celebrating African stories and creativity. He's also one of the sponsors of CamDoc UK. He holds a PhD in computing from the United Kingdom, and he blends academic insight with practical innovation to build systems that solve real-world problems. Over the past decade, he has led international teams, turning ideas into products that impact finance, communication, and culture. He is a passionate traveler. His worldview is shaped by experiences. I think right now he's joining us from somewhere in Asia, and also conversations across continents. He believes entrepreneurship is a tool for transformation, helping others see opportunity in adversity and building solutions that outlive their creators. He is also the author of Prompt and Profit with ChatGPT, where he shares actionable strategies on using technology and AI to accelerate business growth. Through mentorship, storytelling, and innovation, he continues to inspire a new generation of entrepreneurs preparing for the future. Dr. Louis, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anna. I mean, when you were doing the introduction, I was just pinching myself and asking, okay, who exactly is she talking about? That was me. So today, this evening, I'm going to talk about my journey. I'm going to share my journey, the kind of things that I build and reasons behind for building them. I'm also going to look into some of the challenges i.e. the highs and the lows that I have on a daily basis operating as an entrepreneur. And then I would drop in some few nuggets for those that are aspiring to join the business community. So without much ado, let us dive straight into my journey, how it all started and where I am today. So my journey started from Buea, where I studied computing between 2001 and 2002. And between 2002 and 2003, I had no job. So I was searching for a job until when I finally landed my first job in Yaoundé, working as a computer aid engineer, a position that I held for about 4 years. I was able to repair computers, carry computers around, and help so many businesses and organizations in Yaoundé. And during this time, I also venture into my first ever business. This was like a it was a shalakan, because that is when I actually had to understand exactly what is business, how does it work, and then we were offering training to students, individuals who were interested in computing, and I had the weight of actually knowing what it means to run a business. So after that, from 2007, I decided to move to the UK for further studies, where I immediately got myself into professional IT certifications. Please pay attention to this certification because they are going to form the backbone of almost every other thing that I've done going forwards. So between 2007 and 2015, while in the UK, I took professional certifications, especially in Cisco and Microsoft, where I got certified as a Cisco certified network professional and also a Microsoft certified administrator. During this time, I also venture into having other qualifications, among which includes a postgraduate certificate in computing from London College. I also had an MSc or a master's in computing from Wales University. Then, because I had passion to teach, I jumped into teaching, where I also acquired another qualification as a teacher from Plymouth University. During this time at Plymouth University, I also acquired a PhD in computing. That was, they're very challenging courses, given the fact that when I left Cameroon, I was not well kind of grounded in education. I had just some sort of computer studies. So they were challenging, but I have this never do attitude and I kept going. So let's continue with my journey. So between 2000 and during that time while I was studying, I also had the opportunity to lecture computer networks for undergraduate and postgraduate students in London College and Plymouth University. So as soon as I finished my PhD from Plymouth University, and I decided to move into something else. I was intrigued. Remember, in 2003, and between 2003 and 2007, I set up a business. So I still had a lot of passion for business. So 2017, that's when I decided to start my first business in the UK. And the first business in this case was Monifex, a remittance company. I further moved on to set up KeyBank, a digital banking service. And then just from one company to another, I decided to form a Doc AI Academy, where individuals could undertake AI training courses. Then I move on to set up Technofex, a software development company. And now Do Media, the company that is streaming this show tonight. One other thing is that I am an author. I do write books. We are going to discuss about those books as we progress with our discussion. So let's jump into exactly what the kind of things that I build, how I build them, and reason behind building them. Starting with Monifex. Like I said, Monifex is like my baby. One of those things that I did as a result of solving a pain, something that I experienced. And I thought, okay, the solution has to come from me. I might not necessarily have to go and look for it somewhere. Monifex, we are a remittance company. We allow individuals to send money to Cameroon from the UK and Europe. We do send money to Cameroon. We allow individuals to use our service. So what were the pains? What was the foundation? What actually led me to start Monifex? In 2015, I was scammed by a remittance company in the UK. I sent money through them, and when I called, the money wasn't delivered. I had no way of tracing them. They were not registered with the Financial Conduct Authority. I was heartbroken, given that I just finished study and I didn't have enough money around. Then also, I lose a lot of money in fees whenever I'm making transfers to Cameroon. And then for some transfers that I would send to Cameroon, a simple transfer could take about 5 days to be delivered. So especially when you're sending money for a business purpose and it doesn't get there, you just have to miss on not just the fact that the money didn't get there on time, you also miss on the business deal. So that is those are the 3 reasons why I decided to set up Monifex. The backbone behind setting Monifex is to offer trust, speed, and affordable fees for those who are sending money to Cameroon and Africa. And now we are processing nearly 100,000 transactions on a yearly basis, especially to Cameroon. Monifex is actually known to be offering the best exchange rates and reliable delivery services to Cameroon and other African countries. And this was not a smooth ride. I didn't just move from, oh, let's set up Monifex and things just went on smoothly. So what actually happened is there's so many challenges in the course of setting up a business. Some of the challenges that I had with Monifex was the fact that just to identify the team members who can work and help you with a vision is very hard. It's challenging. And then also, as a new entrance into the space, it is also often very difficult to challenge the big players already established in the industry, especially in terms of fees and rates. Then the other challenge which I faced was that of compliance and regulation. Remember, moving money from one country or across borders requires a lot of licensing and regulatory cover. So that is Monifex. That was my first company that I set up. For those of you who are watching and don't yet have Monifex accounts or don't send money to Cameroon through Monifex, I would strongly encourage you to go to monifex.com, sign up, use a service to send money directly to your family. You could also download the app directly from Play Store or App Store. Now, let's move on to the next business, which I also set up, KeyBank. KeyBank, KeyBank is really something else. During my travel across Africa, there's one thing that I noticed. When I go to Ghana, when I go to Nigeria, when I go to South Africa and other countries, the banking sector is well developed. They don't have boundaries with using banking services. In Cameroon, we don't have that luxury. The banking sector in Cameroon is still undergoing serious development. And even those that are from Cameroon living abroad, they don't even have access to banking in their own home countries. And they tend to send money back home to their families through mobile wallets. And for those that even have bank account, they will send money to their families to go and fund their own bank account in Cameroon. And because of this, I saw the need to come up with a product called KeyBank that allows individuals, regardless of wherever you are, and you can justify and give us the right identity and address to open a KeyBank account. So when you have a KeyBank account, you are able to add money to your account in CFA. The money in your account in CFA, you could pay it out through MTN and Orange. You can also transfer it to other KeyBank account holders, largely for free. And KeyBank has enabled individuals, especially those that are in the diaspora, to now actually hold their own funds in Cameroon, to do their own banking locally. So that is what I wanted to achieve with KeyBank. So since we started last year, so far nearly 40,000 accounts have been opened, both locally and in the diaspora, and thousands of individuals are now managing their own funds managing their own finances using KeyBank. The kind of stories that I hear from people who are using KeyBank, they say, oh, wow, what a great service. Why was this not there? We just discover how great it is to have an account. Now I'm able to send money to myself. I'm able to manage my own finances. I don't longer have those stories where I used to send money to my family members or friends. They get it used for things that they were not supposed to use it for. So just the kind of stories that we get every single day from our customers. And for those of you, again, for those of you who don't yet have KeyBank, the account is free. Just go to keybank.app, download the app, open yourself an account, try it. Trust me, you're going to enjoy this service. Some of the challenges that we face with KeyBank is, again, getting experts in fintech or financial technology is hard to employ, especially those that have expert knowledge with the African continent, Cameroon in this case. It is always very difficult to compete with established telcos or telecommunication companies such as MTN and Orange. Then also, given the fact that a majority of those that are in Cameroon are not that used to digital or internet banking, it has always been very difficult for us to educate the customers, to educate people to know that, listen, there's an easier way for you to bank. There's an easier way for you to have an app which can enable you to do all your banking from your mobile phone. So those are some of the challenges that we actually face with KeyBank. So that is the story of KeyBank. Let's move to the next company, Dog AI Academy. And trust me, this one is something else. The world nowadays is getting shaped by AI. The buzzword is AI. Everywhere you go is AI. Things that used to take hours or months or years to complete could be done easily with AI. Videos that could take time, could take about weeks to create, could be done in under few hours using AI. The promise is that AI is going to be bigger than internet, and it is going to create a lot more wealth than internet has created. So I had to jump into the bandwagon of AI. The reason being that when I wrote my first book, Prompts and Profits with ChatGPT, and also my own team members as well, for those that bought the book, I had questioned, oh, by the way, what is this? What is AI? I hear this thing everywhere I go. How does it work? So I saw a need to come up with a kind of a structured institution or a platform that can allow individuals to study AI and understand exactly what it is, how it works, and how they can actually use it either in their own careers or for their day-to-day lives. So that is why I started Dog AI Academy. Dog AI Academy actually enables individuals to study and get certification or get certified, which are issued by the Academy. The certification from Dog AI Academy are similar to what you get from Cisco and Microsoft. They are industry-led certification. And so we want to give opportunity for individuals, especially those that are back in Africa, to at least have the opportunity to study and know what AI is. And then we are also going to bring together specialist courses for those that are already working and looking for ways through which they can integrate AI into their work life. For example, AI for medical doctors, AI for nurses, or AI in the nursing sector, AI in in freelancing. So just see how you can actually incorporate AI into the things that you do. So go now, if you have not yet registered, go now to docaiacademy.com, sign up. There are free courses that are currently running just to learn the definition of AI, what exactly it is. Then you can also look at the history of AI. AI has been around now for about 75 years. So just go there, learn it, get an understanding of it. In the coming weeks, we're going to have paid courses that will actually allow you to study and get your own certification or get certified by Dog AI Academy. You can add this qualification to your portfolio or that LinkedIn profile or even on your CV. So now let's move to the last, I think, the next company, which is Technofex. As you must have seen from the previous companies, these are a software, these are online services that we're offering based on using applications. So the reason I started Technofex was to look for ways through which we can all build our application in-house without necessarily depending on third parties. So that's why I started Technofex. We actually started Technofex, I think it was back in 2023, 2024. So with Technofex, we are now operating in, I think, about six different countries. We are employing nearly, I think, about 80 staff globally for Technofex. So yeah, so that is Technofex, where we actually develop a software. Then Do Media, again, if you see all our services, they are based on us actually selling a product or a service to customers. We needed a platform that we can sell easily, and that platform was Do Media. And so we started Do Media so that we can at least build a platform to be able to market our product and actually reach out to many customers. And then lastly, author, what I do as an author. So as I said, I'm also an author. I do write books. These are some of my books that I've written. I write to simplify complex technology for everyday person. Anybody can take it. Very something that is very difficult so that they can understand it, and to help entrepreneur build income with just practical system, and also to tell African stories with a global relevance, even the fact that I have my travels. So you could get any of my books from Amazon or Boku.com. And then lastly, the one other things which this thing is not just a plain sale where you get things just moving freely. The highs, what some of the highs that I have experienced. Number one, sitting right here now speaking to you guys, I am the most unlikely person to be talking to you people right now, because again, if given the challenges, the kind of barriers that we have to break in order to do what we are doing today, this is because nothing was given to us. We did not necessarily come from a very rich background or rich parents who just kind of just give us things to move ahead. We had to do it, break the glass ceiling, try to do it by ourselves. So that for me is a very high point, just for the fact that I'm able to present to you guys today. Then number two, having the power to actually shape my own future. Because right now, given the things that we do, I now decide on many of them without necessarily asking from someone else. Then the last one, being able to impact the lives of many. Now we offer employment to many tens of people globally. Then once it comes to the lows, most of the time I get told that, no, listen, you don't belong here. There's no way you're going to make it. Those are the naysayer who always come to me and say, listen, you're not going to be able to make it. And guess what? I just have to believe in myself and keep going. That is really low for me. When people always tell me, oh, by the way, you don't belong here. You can't be this, you can't be that. And another low is constantly being underestimated, thinking, oh, this guy doesn't even know, he's not capable. People doubt my own skills. So how do I do that? I just have to challenge for the top. And then finally, one of the lowest point is realizing that there's no one who is coming to rescue me. yeah, when you spend time with your friends who have almost everything, then you see that, okay, as of now, you are on your own. Yeah, you on your own, you have to look for ways to do it. It's really, really challenging. So you have to stand up for yourself all the time. And then the last one, okay, some few nuggets which I want to drop for those that are looking to get into entrepreneurship. Number one, there is no substitute for hard work. Don't think that you'll be able to just walk in, walk out, and things move forward. No, you have to work hard in order to achieve whatever you want to do. Don't look for shortcuts, please. By any means, don't look for shortcuts because they don't always last. Shortcuts never last. And be a trustworthy individual, someone that people can count on, someone that people can always go to. Let your words be what you say. And then also build to impact yourself and also the society. As you must have seen from the product that I discussed about, every single thing that I built it because I had a pain, I have a problem, I needed to solve it. So if you are able to solve your own pain, eventually you are going to be able to help and build the society. And also, it can always be done. People will tell you, no, it can't be done. But I can guarantee you, sitting right here as an example, I can guarantee you that it can always be done. It can always be done. But the most important thing is you should be that one person who does it. Always be that person who takes the first bullet and say, I'm going to do it. Have that I can do attitude. So, and then try to get yourself a role model. Get someone that you can look up to and say, okay, I want to be like this person. Learn from their journey. Avoid some of the mistakes that they are making to make sure you can at least arrive there earlier than the time that you would have spent. So get yourself a role model. Don't just try to do things by yourself. And I think this one for me is the most important one. Where you are now doesn't define where you will end up being, wherever you will end up. So things might be very hard, things might be very difficult for you right now, but you know what? You can always do it. You can always get there regardless of the challenges. So let what is happening to you now not define you for the future, not define you for the rest of your life, because you have the opportunity to always change from that particular position. This famous one for me is, if you can't run, just walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving. You are going to have obstacles. Things are not going to work. Don't give up. You look for ways to get things done. There's always a way, but don't give up. Don't sit and say, okay, it's not for me. There's nothing that is not for you. Everything is for us. You just have to have that mindset of saying, I am going to do it regardless. And then finally, there's this quote, I think I said it last Thursday. If you go into many communities, they will say, okay, if you have something to hide, make sure, if you have something to hide from a black man, write it in a book. So please don't be that black person who doesn't read. Read. The more you read, the more guarantee you can earn. So your earning potentials are guaranteed by the knowledge that you have. That's why I said your income cannot exceed your knowledge. So by all means, read as many books as possible. Read blogs. Read things that are more rewarding. Nowadays, it is easier to be scrolling through social media, but those things are just short dopamine hits. Rather, spend time to read something that will help you to advance your career. So, Dr. Anna, thank you very much. This comes to the end of my presentation. This is what I had to present to you this evening.
You're talented, but tired. You're trading more hours for the same results. You're working harder every month, but your income never seems to grow. The clients change, the deadlines don't, and you keep asking yourself,
there has to be a smarter way.
What if the problem isn't your effort, but your system? This is where everything changes. One framework, 4 steps, role, task, context, output. The same structure that turned chaos into clarity. and effort into 10,000 pounds months.
There has to be a smarter way. I made £8,000 in 27 days, and I finally slept.
$0 to 10,000 plus in 30 days is more than a book. It's a proven 30-day system. A proven 30-day roadmap that turns your skill into income and your time into freedom. Built for freelancers, creators, and entrepreneurs who refuse to stay stuck. The next success story could be yours. Your 30-day transformation starts now. No more time to waste. Get your copy of 0 to 10,000 plus in 30 days on Amazon or bookyou.com today. Freedom isn't a dream, it's a system.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Lewis. That was a brilliant talk, and your journey is really impressive. I wonder where you get all the time to do all of this. Just one question. I would like to know, we have a lot of money platforms, we have all the SB Remit, World Remit, and other platforms, a lot of them flooding the place right now. What makes Moneyfex stand out?
Question for the compliment. What actually makes Moneyfex stand out is number one, our trustworthiness. Others are trusted, and the speed at which we deliver. We do deliver on time, and whenever we promise to deliver, we deliver. And in addition to that, we offer the best rate to Cameroon, and that is why now we've grown the Cameroon corridor to about, I think, getting to 5,000 customers who are sending to Cameroon. We are processing on a monthly basis over 5,000 transactions to Cameroon on a monthly basis. So Moneyfex offers the best rates to Cameroon. We are offering the best rate. Number two, you can send any amount as long as you have the right documentation to Cameroon. You can pay into Key Bank. By the way, none of the other remittance companies are paying into Key Bank yet. So we are one of the first companies paying into Key Bank in Cameroon. Meaning, for example, you, Dr. Anna, if you have your own Key Bank account, you could literally send money to yourself. You send the money to yourself, and then you can pay it out at your own pace, at your own convenience. You can pay that school fee directly into the college, into the university. You can pay that contractor, you can pay that builder from your own Key Bank account. How do you get money into a Key Bank account? You just use Moneyfex.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're running short of time, so I'll just move to the next speaker. There are a lot of compliments in the chat, Dr. Lewis, for your talk, and there are some questions, but I think we'll tackle it at the end of when the third speaker has finished. So our next speaker is no other than Dr. Valentine Gua. He is a CamDoc UK member. As you know, CamDoc is the one organizing these sessions. He is a consultant physician in elderly and acute medicine. So elderly, taking care of the old, and acute medicine for those, acutely unwell. And he is a researcher and principal investigator for clinical trials at the Mid-Yorks Hospital Trust. That is a hospital in the UK, which is found up north in a town called Pinderfields. He is also a medical examiner, and he was the previous education lead. So he's the mindset behind CamDoc UK talking to the community. So if we're sitting here and talking to you, it was just thanks to this gentleman. He brought up this idea during COVID when we're all desperate, trying to reach out to people. We're doing little blurbs and sending out. And he said, hey, hang on, why don't we create these webinars to reach out to the people, let them see us, and we see them and we talk to them. So we are here. We've moved on to our scientific webinars, which are still taking place. And we've come up to the mentorship, which Dr. Asa, as I said, came up with. And so I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Valentine Gua to inspire.
Thank you, Dr. Mbene, for the kind introduction. I would kindly share my slides if I could. Could my slides come up? Here, thank you so much. Now then, again, thank you once more. Sorry, can we go back to previous slides, please? So I can give a context of this conversation. Now, the organizers have asked me to talk about 4 things in this talk. To talk about what I do professionally, to talk about how I got here to what I'm doing professionally, to talk about what the highlights and the challenges are for the job that I do, and to talk about what, or to give what advice I could for somebody considering the type of job that I do. I would make an effort to meet. I think I'll be giving about 15 minutes. I make an effort because if I want to go into details, it will be a very long conversation. But what do I do professionally? Next slide, please. I am a consultant physician in elderly and acute medicine. As Dr. Bender said, I work at the Mid-Yorkshire Hospitals NHS Trust, which run 3 hospitals over here in Wakefield and Dewsbury. Pinderfields Hospital, Dewsbury Hospital, and Pontefract Hospital. So I work across site. And who is a consultant physician? For those who are aware of how the UK health system works, they will know that a consultant physician is the person who sits at the top of the ladder in medicine in a hospital. So you have climbed and you're sitting at the level where you now are the one directing and delivering expert medical care and supported by doctors in training or doctors who we now call resident doctors. So that's what I do on a day-to-day basis, which means I perform ward rounds supported by my juniors. I do call duties. I also run clinics, and I run specialty clinics in osteoporosis and in acute and falls. I also work across as a consultant in acute medicine, which is the type of medicine where people who come to hospital very unwell and they're between the ages of 18 and say 65, they get admitted onto what we call the medical admissions unit, and I tend to provide consultant level care on there as well. Apart from delivering clinical care, I also do offer a lot of teaching with medical students and resident doctors. As you will see in my next few slides, there's a lot of training and examination that resident doctors do have to take before they become consultants, and I get involved in that. Every doctor in training has to have 2 supervisors, a clinical supervisor and an educational supervisor, and I perform both roles. So you have a range of doctors in training that you're supervising, both in the clinic and also making sure they're meeting their educational needs. And one job that I do as well is getting involved in research. There's a lot of clinical research happening, drug trials, observational studies, a lot of other clinical studies. I work as the research lead in my department, and I'm quite involved as a principal investigator for many of these trials. One other role I've also taken as a medical examiner. Now, the medical examiner in the United Kingdom is a medical doctor who's had a minimum amount of years of experience, whose job is to scrutinize every death to make sure that, one, the cause of death is appropriate to what has been stated by the treating team, and that there has been adequate care for this patient, and that there's no investigation required. So you work a lot with the doctor treating the patient and with the coroner's office as well. So how did I get here? Now, there's a lot I can say about this, but I will just try and condense it as much as I can. I finished medical school in Nigeria back in the 90s. So those who are out of the UK want to come here might be interested in how we did that. And after working in Nigeria for a year as a house officer, I went to Cameroon, where I worked for 3.5 years. I must say one of the highlights of my career, really, working in your home country and delivering duties out of the passion. But in 2003, I relocated to the United Kingdom. And as you will know, anybody who trained out of the UK as a doctor relocating here, you have to write board exams. which you call the PLAB exams, the Professional Linguistic and Assessment Board. It's a two-part exams, theory and clinical, and I finished that in December 2003. And between 2004 and 2007, I went into basic specialist training. Now, again, for context, the United Kingdom, in the training, the United Kingdom is based into two. There's a basic training and a higher specialist training. In the basic training, you go through different departments in your specialty. So I'm in medicine, I have to go through all the departments, well, most of the departments there. So I went to endocrinology, cardiology, respiratory medicine, oncology, renal medicine, infectious diseases, and the MAU, which is a branch of acute medicine. And in that period, again, I must say for context reasons, the training in the United Kingdom is divided into three. There's the education component, there's a training component, and there's a component where you gain experience. So there are lots of workplace-based assessments and a lot of exams. And after my business specialist training, that's where I came up with two qualifications, the MRCP, which is the Membership of Royal College of Physicians of UK, and the DGM, which is the Diploma in Geriatric Medicine from the Royal College of Physicians of London. Next slide, please. Now, after I finished those, I went into cancer medicine for 2 years. The first year was as a clinical fellow, and the second year is as a specialist registrar. Then I thought to myself, I love the length and breadth of general medicine. And so oncology tends to be more high specialized. I want to get and do a lot of the things that you see on a day-to-day basis. So I left there and I went back into higher specialist training, but this time as a dual accreditation training in general internal medicine and geriatric medicine. I did my basic specialist training in the Leeds area, those who know the UK. So I moved to Chapel Allerton Hospital, Leeds General Infirmary, St. James University Hospital, Seacroft Hospital, and Cookridge Hospital. So my high specialist training was done in the East Yorkshire, the other side of Yorkshire, and it was a 5-year training where you have to do 2 years in the tertiary hospitals and 3 years in non-tertiary hospitals. So I moved through Hull Teaching Hospitals, Scarborough Hospital, York Teaching Hospital, the Mid Yorkshire Hospitals, and back to Hull, where I became a consultant in 2014. Now, in that period, you write for the exams and get for the assessments. And when you get all of them, I came out with 2 qualifications, the MRCP UK in geriatric medicine, which is my specialty. So you will see some people write MRCP UK cardiology, MRCP UK respiratory medicine. Mine was geriatric medicine. And then when you finish and meet all your curriculum requirements, you get what is called the CCT, the Certificate of Completion of Training. And that now qualifies you to take a job as a substantive consultant in that specialty. And that's what I became in Hull Royal Infirmary, which later on I moved to the Pinderfield Hospital, where I am at the moment. Now, when you have become a consultant and you can demonstrate that you're adding value to the profession, you are invited to apply for a fellowship of a Royal College. So I met the criteria and applied for fellowship of the Royal College of Physicians of London and a fellowship of the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh. So in a nutshell, again, that is me trying to break that down simply. In the nutshell, that was my training. Next slide, please. Now, when you are training, you have the opportunity of going into a lot of additional interests depending on what you want to do. As I said before, I do clinical research, so that was my interest. There are other consultants or other physicians who choose to go into things like management and leadership. And those who choose to go into, there are a lot of other aspects. People go into medical legal aspects as expert witness. So if you have a patient that you think that the management wasn't very accurate and you're showing the trust, you might want to get somebody who has a medical legal background to act as an expert witness, but you have to be a consultant in that specialty as well. Whatever you choose to become, there are a lot of additional training or qualification that you might require. And so in my specialty, based on the fact that a large part of my job has got to do with elderly medicine, which is a branch of medicine that deals with people with multiple and interacting medical and social problems. It has a wide span. And so that informs a lot of the things that I did in supplement. Next slide, please. So I went ahead and I did a few other trainings to be able to meet up with the demands of the job I do. Not that they were mandatory, I have to do them, but being somebody who likes to take things further, I went ahead and did for a lot of these other trainings. The first was the practice of elderly care medicine has got a lot of legal and ethical considerations. You are talking about people who have got the inability to consent to a procedure. You're talking about the cut of protection. You're talking about the lot of medical issues. So I went forward and I did a a postgraduate certificate in medical law from Edinburgh University. And as well as that, as we get older, as we know, we get more diseases, we get more medical issues, which means that we take more medications. And we take medication that has potential to interact with each other. And also being an older person means that you don't deal with medications as a younger person would do. So the practice of therapeutics is very important. Can I have this slide move forward? So I talk to sync with my slide. Thank you so much. So I went ahead and did a postgraduate diploma in therapeutics in Cardiff University to be able to take this aspect of my practice forward. And for those, again, the UK, the practice of elderly medicine in the UK is not just based on the biomedical aspect of medicine, so not just based on their hypertension, diabetes, and stroke, and cancers or whatever. It's got a lot of social connotations, how aging affects society and how society deals with aging. To be able to ground myself on that, I did a master's degree in social gerontology from Southampton University, and I must say, taught me a lot of things to see people not just by their diseases, but also by a lot of the social, psychological component of their well-being. And as we know, we get older, we don't process foods and things the same way. We either put on weight or we either lose weight, or weight you will never see somebody who's above 50 who's not talking about my weight, I have to manage my weight and stuff like that. So it is an important issue. About chemistry and physiologists are different. To ground this further so I can deliver the best care to my kind of patients that I see, I went ahead and did another master's degree in aging and weight management from the University of South Wales. Now, you don't have to do all of this to become a consultant, because by the shared training, I mean, as I said before, you do three years at least of the basic training, 5 years of the hospital training, and that is before the time where you came. So we were talking about the least is 9 years. You would have had a lot of opportunities to be taught many of these. But again, it gives you opportunities of exploring it as well. And another thing that I did, because I'm involved in clinical trials that involves patients taking investigational medicinal products or medications that are being tested, you have to have a training called the GCP, which is good clinical practice, which teaches you how clinical trials are being run, which makes sure you understand the roles of players there, like the principal investigator, the sponsor, what they do, and make sure that it is being delivered in a way that meets with the required legislation and enforced. So we did that. I did that as well as others. But now, I've been asked to talk about what the highlight of my my profession is. Again, I would limit this to the elderly care medicine because, for the sake of time, I can't talk about acute medicine and medical examiner. It will take a long time. What is the beauty of this specialty? You not only treat people's diseases, you treat the whole person. So if somebody comes to the hospital, say with a pneumonia, it is not just the fact that they've come with a pneumonia, it's the fact that how does that pneumonia affect their functioning? How does it affect their reasoning? How are they going to cope at home when they go back home? Do they need any support structure? So I look on them, not just their biomedical issues, the psychological issues, the functional issues, the sociological issues. I look at the whole person. And that is the beauty of this specialty. Allows you to manage holistic practice. And you get to deal with a wide range of conditions, which is what actually fascinated me. Because in my ward rounds, I can start by seeing a patient who's got diabetes. The next one, the person who's got a gout. The next one, the person who's got a renal problems. And the next one, the person who's got a hypertensive emergency. And so you end up dealing with the common day-to-day problems and being very well grounded in their management. And you deal with complexity. Young people come to hospital with one problem. Older people come to hospital with many different problems. It could be biomedical problems, it could be psychological problems, it could be sociological problems. A patient might just fall at home, not because they got a major disease, but because probably the carer had a cold and income that day, so they had to go make a cup of tea, which means that you have to also worry not just the disease they've got, but also how they can cope and how their functioning is. This complexity is very important because when you start managing complexity, then you understand life itself, because life is complex. Marriage is complex. Bringing up children is complex. And you start understanding how the manifestation of the normal things that we do can transcend from the hospital setting onto day-to-day life. Because you can have two children, do the same thing to both of them, and they turn out differently because raising children is complex. And so you tend to learn complexity and understand it and how you manage it. And now you also work collaboratively with other members of the multidisciplinary team. And that's the beauty of elderly care medicine. It is not just I'm going to the hospital to see a doctor and then he gives you a medication and you go home. I work with, apart from the nurse, I work with the physiotherapist, the occupational therapist, the speech and language therapist. And sometimes you work with other specialties. So if somebody with the heart problems, I find that I need the cardiologist on board. I work across board with the cardiologist or the respiratory physicians. What that does to you is understand collaboration, because the most important person in that mix is the patient, and how you can form bonds with other members of the team to deliver that particular thing that you want, which is getting the patient better and getting them going home in a better form and managing at home. Which, to be honest, if it transcends to society, that's what we want. We want anybody running society to work together so they deliver services that work for everybody. And that's one thing elderly medicine tends to teach you. And in this profession, there are great opportunities for leadership, because you've dealt with the things that can be transferable to society. You deal with people who have different ways of bringing their different mentality and psychology to work. You're able to learn how to manage people better and form good functioning teams. You can transcend that into leadership, into innovation. That's why if you look at the NHS today in the United Kingdom, you find many people trained in geriatric medicine in leadership positions, because they understand complexity and they understand how to work in a team. And again, it gives a lot of opportunity in research. Before, the practice of geriatric medicine was called the practice of coded common sense. But now we're able to, thanks to the advent of frailty medicine, understand the research and science behind it. And that is the beautiful place where the geriatricians of today and of the future will be more involved in research, because we need to design processes and guidelines that work not just for younger people, but also for older people. And the good thing about this is you witness humanity. You're going to see people towards the end of their lives and you see how they react. You see those who had a good life, how they understand life, how they take it easy, how they understand that it is a transient period. There's something in gerontology called gerotranscendence, where people have finally agreed that, you know what, we don't own this world. And so you see them, there's a cosmic level. They have the bond with nature. They tend to do things which says, you know what, it is nature that's more paramount. They're less self-centered. They think about other people than themselves. But on the other hand, you're also going to see older people who are nothing but bitter and vain. The most important thing is they're going to teach you about life. That some people go through life with a lot of regrets, and some people go through life with a lot of life satisfaction, and they will all manifest in front of you when you see them on a day-to-day basis. Now, what are the second highlights, which are quite important? Though for those who are going to go into this training, and again, part of this talk is to encourage people to see the beauty of getting into a specialty like this. There is a great support in your training. As I said, you're going to have an education and a clinical supervisor, and these are not people who are going to judge you, who are going to be trying to, to be like the Kaiser and punish you, but the role is to support you achieve your curriculum requirement. And you're also going to have a study budget so that the things that you want to meet in terms of your training need, you can get money from there. There are great rotations. I've been through great rotations, and when you're moving in the high specialist training through those 5 years, each year you're learning something different and new that adds to your understanding and knowledge of the specialty. To orthogeriatrics, acute geriatrics, psychogeriatrics, movement disorder and Parkinson's, there are lots of them. They're great, and when you apply yourself, you will find out every single day that there's a lot that you're going to deliver to your people. And then the job, I cannot emphasize it anymore. It's fantastic. When I finished training back in 2014, because when you train in a region, people tend to know you, and they're waiting, because at that time, the UK was running at 50% of the requirements of geriatricians in the United Kingdom. Because remember, we are an aging population, so we need physicians who are specialized in care of the elderly. And so when you're moving, there are loads of hospitals that are looking for you. I got 5 hospitals asking for me to come and speak to them because they wanted to offer me a job when I was finishing. So there's lots of opportunities to get jobs. I mean, I know nowadays in the United Kingdom, to get a job as a junior doctor is harder. But when you can demonstrate that you can go through this process, I can assure you, there are loads of, in my department nowadays, we're begging for geriatricians. So the job availability is there. If you can demonstrate and go through the process, you will definitely be solicited and you'll be the one to make a choice. Now, the work-life balance is fantastic. The United Kingdom, the contract for consultants is what they do. They call the PA, the program activities, which when you sign a contract, you could have a 10 program activity. With that, you can really create, because that'll be about 40 hours a week. You can get time to do whatever you want to do. It's when you want to do more that you actually, take away those time. But if you're sticking to the 10 PA job, you can create a fantastic work-life balance. I mean, I've always picked up my kids from school. There's never been a day in which I don't pick them from school and stuff like that. You allow 36 weeks you allow 6 weeks holidays in a year, 2 weeks of study leave, 10 days of parental leave, and then special leave as well. So the work-life balance is good. And you can also work in many regions of the world. One thing you've noticed about this specialty, I mean, if you look at more geriatric wards in the United Kingdom, you hardly see doctors from other places, like if you go to cardiology and respiratory. The reason being, the United Kingdom trains their geriatricians in a different way. Because a 5-year rotation, you all train in a dual accreditation, both in internal medicine and in geriatric medicine. And so the role of a geriatrician here is very, very big and very wide, where very few countries do that. But those countries tend to like geriatricians from the UK to come to them. And so you can go to Canada. Nowadays, the US is opening up its jobs to the UK market, consultant market. The Middle East, of course, New Zealand and Australia, they are begging for UK trained geriatricians to come over. And when you work with colleagues who have worked and understood how life is with their patients, they tend to be very great and understanding with you as well. So you're going to work with great colleagues. And in a nutshell, there are also going to be challenges when you're working. Next slide, please. Like as I said, can we have the next slide on the, as I said before, there are going to be lots of exams you're going to write. But let me say this, as my previous speaker has said, never aim to go for the easy things, because the easy things attract a lot of crowd. When you can demonstrate that you can go through this pathway and you get to the top, jobs are going to look for you. You're not going to look for jobs. And so these exams, though there are many, but they're going to be the ones that will filter people, and all of the best will get at the top. So there are a lot of exams, which shouldn't be a problem if you've gone through medical school. It can be high pressured as well. Don't forget, we're working in a region with an aging population. So sometimes you will come in and you will have 20 older people waiting in the emergency department to come onto your ward, because that is the nature of the society we're working in. And sometimes our patients' relatives tend to have an unrealistic expectations. A lot of your job will be spent on managing expectations. So, for example, you would have a patient who had been at home and hasn't actually walked more than 20 yards for the past 8 months, almost chairbound. But when they have any disease and they come to hospital, the family will expect you to get them to be able to run a marathon or to be able to walk 200 yards, which are all unrealistic. Or you get somebody who is actually on the last dying phase, and the family think that you can give them a new heart, new lungs, and new kidneys, which is unrealistic. So managing those expectations are very important, and that is where understanding the mindset of your patient and relatives and having a very good communication skill is very important in this job. And you will also get to understand a lot of family dynamics. Oh my God. You will see one man whose 3 children don't talk to each other, and the man is at the last leg of his life and he hasn't got capacity to make decisions for himself. And you have the 3 children wanting 3 different things about their father, but they wouldn't want to come together and agree on what to have. They will put you in the mix. And so you have to understand how you manage those family dynamics. But to be fair, when you understand that, you also understand how to manage your own family dynamics as well. So it teaches you about life, because you deal with the things that are the realities of society. And when you're training, there are very long hours. Again, that shouldn't put anybody off. The more you apply yourself in the long hours, the better you come out as a physician. Because as I said, the experience part of it is very important. The more patients you treat, the more you're good at treating patients. I remember when I was a baby registrar back in Hull Rural Infirmary, on my 3rd day of work, they put me on a night shift. It was a 12-hour shift, 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. I got it at 10 p.m. and I only realized that it was 7 a.m. I didn't know how the hours passed because we were that busy. You got juniors calling you for support. You got the A&E resource calling you for support. You got the GPs calling you for support. But along the way, the 3rd, 4th, 5th year, you become so confident and people respect you, because the medical registrar in the hospital out of hours is highly respected because he's considered as one of the most clever finishers to solve the problems of the surgeons if there's a medical problem, the gynae if there's a medical problem. And so you tend to find that you get respected. So the long hours are to boost you to become the kind of physician that you're supposed to become. So if you ask me then, next, like, what advice would I give to somebody who wants to come into this specialty? I would say a few things. The first is be open to deal with complexity. A problem can be simple, a problem can be complicated, but it can also be complex. The issue with complexity is you have to understand how to manage all of it at the same time and be thorough. And to also understand that if you're only giving attention to one of those problems, you can actually cause harm to the other one. So there are guidelines and rules of how to manage complexity. You have to be open to it and learn further. And you have to be able to understand to embrace uncertainty, because the complexity, there's no certainty that the output is going to be what you want. Just because somebody has got a pneumonia and come into hospital doesn't mean that they're going to go out of hospital. It could happen that with young people, because that's the only thing that they've got. But the type of patient you're going to treat are not just the one that will come in with a pneumonia, but they also have a pneumonia at the background with dementia, heart failure, kidney problems, and that brings up a whole complexity into the whole mix. You have to understand that, and to deal with those is talking with the patients every step of the way and being thorough. And also you have to understand that being a good team player in this profession is one of the best things you can do, because it's not going to be you alone managing a patient. You might lead the team, but you have to work with a team that actually delivers the care. So how you manage that team will depend on how good you are as a team player. And of course, good emotional intelligence. You're going to see people at some point with multiple diseases who might not pull through. That conversation with the family to say, okay, at this point in time, we've done everything we can do. We have to stop and just let nature take its course is an extremely difficult one. You have to understand, because you're going to deal with a lot of people who will be throwing emotions at that point in time, some of them blaming you, because that is one of the things of life. When people are when people have a difficult situation, they look for somebody to blame. So you might be one of them. You have to understand that and be able to deal with it appropriately. And you have to enjoy learning. As you have noticed, I did a few things to learn, not because I had to do them, but because it enhances you. It enhances how you deal with people, it increases your knowledge, and the more knowledge you have, the more you can deliver to your patients adequately. You also have to understand how to teach. Because believe me, when medical students leave medical school, they come to the hospital with a different mindset. There's something in the Dunning-Kruger effect where they say they are in a period of the peak of man stupid, where with little understanding, they think that they're competent. We all went through that. And you think that when you give somebody one medication, then you solve their problem and they're going to get better. You have to be able to teach how frailty manages. You have to be able to teach people that the biological age is not the same like the chronological age. So just because somebody is 70 doesn't mean that they'll behave like all 70s, because you can be 70-year-old chronologically, but 90-year-old biologically. The same way you can be 70-year-old chronically and you're 50 years old biologically. How you teach that, not just to the patients, to the families, but also to your juniors, is how you can manage patients. So you have to be able to understand learning and teaching and do that appropriately. And most importantly, you have to like older people. Some of them are lovely to deal with. They're going to teach you many things. They're going to talk to you in a nice way, be very appreciative of what you do. But some of them can be a pain in the ass. And if you take it literally, you're going to get quite frustrated. But if you understand that they are manifesting how they have seen life from their perspective all through the decades that they've lived life, then you understand that what they are manifesting is something that should attract empathy from you and not condemnation. And I'm sure I've been able to give a few pointers. I would say it's a specialty worth recommending to any imaginers thinking about elderly medicine. And I'll stop here and be happy to take any questions if there are. Thank you.
Wow, Dr. Valentine Goa, that was brilliant. That was a brilliant talk. As brilliant as a consultant that you are, just to say I've had the privilege when I came into this country to work on the elderly ward, and I actually worked with Dr. Valentine Goa. He is just a spectacular consultant. And you've highlighted how medical consultants have a lot of transferable skills. This is really impressive. It's not, because I think the public imagines that a doctor just goes into hospital and just treats and comes back out. But there is a lot that happens in between patients, colleagues, and other stuff. So I think there's a question that keeps coming up. In Cameroon, is your specialty, would you recommend someone to specialize in elderly medicine in Cameroon?
Yes. Yes. I get this a lot from doctors from Africa and stuff. They say they say, oh, well, people don't live Cameroon, don't live that old. Why do you do elderly medicine in Cameroon and stuff like that? And I say, well, because you don't understand the specialty. Actually, there's a WHO program to train doctors in Africa to train the system to get people specialized in elderly care medicine. The reason being, people see elderly care medicine as a medicine of older people, and they say people in Cameroon don't live that old. The question is, what do you mean by old? So one of the things I ever ask people is, when you say somebody is old, what do you mean? Because it is not just the age. People look at chronological age like being old. No, it is more of the biological age. So if in Cameroon, for example, you start attracting diabetes and hypertension in their 40s and 50s, then you're telling me that by the time they're in their 60s, they've got multiple of those problems. And that is where the specialty of elderly care medicine comes in, dealing with people with multiple interactive medical problems. So absolutely, they would. The few times I've had conversations with my colleagues, and no disrespect to my colleagues back in Africa at all, but the few times I've had conversations with them dealing with an older person with multiple comorbidities, I have seen this situation where they are so much focused on a disease model of care rather than a holistic model of care. So it's very important that we teach this. And I hope that going forward, there will be structures put in place so this expertise can be transferred back to Cameroon. Because what is important, yes, the disease model is very important, but if you emphasize more on the disease model, you will be ignoring other things, and at the end of the day, you actually shorten the life expectancy. So back to your question, absolutely, it is an important place which is very missing.
Impressive. Last but not the least, I hope this has given some guidance to the young doctors in training who are still trying to figure out what specialty to do. I hope this has been helpful to all the medical students who are on this call. Last but not the least, I know, Dr. Valentine, you've spoken about the work-life balance, which is impressive. Can you give us an idea, just a general idea of how much an elderly consultant can earn?
Now, yeah, I was expecting this question. Now, it is a wide range. It is. I'm going to put the consultant pay schedule on the chat forum, but it's a wide range because remember, as I said, you work according to the program activity. So you are employed as a 10 program activity job. If you stick on that 10 program activity, you're saying you're working almost like 3.5 days in a week and then 1 weekend in 6 on call, which gives you a lot of time. What many people do is they use those time for other things else. That brings income. So it's very difficult to talk about the salary, but it's possible to talk about the income depending on what you want to do. So the range is very wide. You're going to choose how you want to, first of all, where you want to work and how you want to work. Some people are going to say to themselves, you know what, I got 5 years I work here and I move to Africa. Then fine, you work as a locum because you're going to have the possibility of working as a locum for 5 years. It gives you more money but less protection. And then you can say, somebody can say, oh no, got a family, I got a house, I want to work as a consulting consultant who gives me protection. So you get paid less, but you get a lot of protection. So if you fall sick, you are protected for a very long time. And some people say, well, I'm going to work part-time in the NHS, do the 10 PA, and then go to private practice and do some other time. Again, all of those makes whatever you earn to be very wide range. So it depends on what you want to use. So it's quite hard for me to say exactly this is what they earn.
So we're going to move to, thank you very much, Dr. Valentine. We're going to move to the last speaker. Last but not the least, the last speaker is Mr. Wilson Fru. He is a quality health and safety manager at Freiburg, a dynamic lead auditor, and a trainer with over a decade of real-world experience across construction, logistics, and oil and gas in the UNA and Africa. He has contributed to major flagship projects, including Etihad Rail, Yas Island Development, and Dubai Natural Gas projects, where he is recognized for fostering a strong safety culture and high performance standards. He holds advanced HSE qualifications, including the NEBOSH International Diploma in Occupational Health and Safety, Environmental Management, Quality Management, and more. As a certified ISO lead auditor, he brings deep expertise in audits, investigations, and safety management systems. Passionate about developing people, he has trained hundreds in safety leadership, hazard management, and quality and environmental management systems. He is committed to mentoring young professionals and raising health and safety standards across the Middle East and Cameroon. Please, Mr. Wilson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Anna, for the warm introduction. Hello, good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And I've been asked to talk on what I do professionally, how I got here, the highlights and challenges, and as well, maybe tips for anyone considering to start up a career in the field of health and safety. So we have a lot of practical insights and tips to cover. So I encourage you to just pay keen attention, and you will have some time to ask questions for clarity. So let's get started. I am Wilson Fru, an HSC professional based in the United Arab Emirates. I work for a contracting firm called Fibrec as the HSC manager, lead ISO auditor, and a trainer. So in this role, I oversee the safety compliance across all the company's infrastructure projects in the UAE. I've been in the field for 8 years now, and by the grace of God, I've had the privilege to work in the oil and gas sector, construction, and logistics and facility management. So I'm just going to give you a rundown of what I do as a safety professional in my field. As a professional, we do a lot of development and implementation of a comprehensive health and safety framework. That is, we are developing companies' safety policies, health and safety plans, procedures. We are also in charge of compliance and regulatory affairs. So we are enhancing legal laws, local and international, making sure that the company sticks to those laws. I'm also in charge of auditing and inspection in my company, and we do a lot of risk assessment, trying to see that we manage risks at all costs to make it low as possible. And as well, we do a lot of training and awareness, building safety culture through education and engagement programs. We also manage incident investigation across all the projects, and as well, emergency preparedness and response. So basically, these are some of the things I do as a health and safety practitioner. So I'm excited to be here today to share my career story and as well to interact with all of you. In a nutshell, I'll be sharing my journey from where I started Cameroon and how I found myself, how I started from a beginner and my current position as a health and safety manager and an auditor and a trainer as well. So just stay with me as I give you some milestones. I was born and raised in Cameroon, and like many young Cameroonians, I had one dream to get something doing, maybe create a meaningful impact in my community. So after high school, I had this ambition to read medicine, which I applied or I wrote the Q's exams and I failed. And somehow I just wanted to do something related to medicine. So I studied biochemistry in the University of Yaoundé, which was a little bit one of the toughest moments in my life. Well, I earlier realized that that was not what I actually wanted. And I just knew that a closed door is not an end. Not getting what you wanted can become the reason you find what you truly need. So I had a privilege to join a campus fellowship called World Changers, which helped shape my mindset regarding leadership and self-development. I was taught that every person is born with a seed of greatness, and it takes the right atmosphere or condition to bring that greatness in that person. So while at the university, I also realized that striving in Cameroon or anywhere else in the world require not just a degree. I needed to invest in myself, build new skills, pursue professional trainings, and as well to shape the future I desire. So I took a bold step to enroll in project management in construction, an opportunity that expanded my horizon and exposed me to a wall of new realities. At that time, I also enrolled in basic computer training skills. And one thing I did when I was in the university, I also enrolled to get my driver's license, which I couldn't yet even afford a car, but I just decided to really empower myself in all aspects. I remember my uncle advised me that, okay, you have done project management. Can you do health and safety? I didn't know at that time what was health and safety because it was not really renowned in Cameroon, and we never had platforms like this to really educate people who wants to venture into that field. So it was just like, okay, a seed that was sown. So my first job as a project manager in Cameroon came from a friend who handed me his construction work to supervise. It was a duplex in Yaoundé. And after executing this project, it expanded my curiosity to get into construction more. But however, as we know, in Cameroon, at that time, or now even, opportunities are limited and highly based on connection. So I made a life-changing decision. A friend in the UAE invited me to come over. And when I considered that it was a good idea, I came, not because things were not working. I came in the UAE in 2018. After doing my research, I learned that UAE and most of the countries in the Middle East are one of the fastest growing countries in infrastructure, technology, and I wanted to be part of that growth. As the saying goes, a wise shepherd will always lead his flock to where the grass is green. So I knew coming to the UAE would give me better opportunity to explore what I really wanted to do. But my first job in the UAE had nothing to do with health and safety. I started like as a taxi driver because I had a local driver's license. So it's very important to get yourself empowered anyway or in all domains because you don't know what will come before you. So as an Uber driver, I think it was for almost 8 months to a year, I gathered courage, invested in my savings, and I enrolled to do the health and safety course. That was a NEBOSH general certification. Despite the course, when I passed the first stage, there are various stages. We have NEBOSH international general certification. So when I passed that one, I didn't stop. I completed several local and international health and safety courses, building my knowledge gradually. So on the slide, they will just show you the various courses I took. Can we go to the courses I took? First of all, I did NEBOSH International General Certification, and I got my first job, which I also had to do a lot of specialized HSC courses. That is, I did fire safety, risk assessment, emergency response plans. All of these courses are available at a very minimal rate. So at that time when I came, I had to do most of these courses, which permitted me to even secure a job in health and safety. So as well, I did a lot of soft skills like communication, conflict management, team leadership, supervisory skills. All of these skills were platforms for me to get to where I am today. So when I got the first job as a safety officer in 2019, I grew steadily, gaining real life experience, learning from experts and building confidence. Because I started as a freelancer, I was allowed, or it got me the opportunity to work with multiple companies in the UAE, from the oil and gas to construction to logistics, each one shaping me into the professional I am today. So I would just, can we go to the professional highlight? Because of time, I will just brush through some of the things, the benefit, and the things that you can look forward or being into the profession of health and safety. Health and safety, it's one of the things I've come to realize that it brings you joy to know that the people that comes to work go back to meet their family safe. At the end of the day, knowing that everyone has gone back and they are safe gives you that joy. And as well, it's a platform where you are exposed to train people, build their mindset, and get into a company, change the mindset about safety in a company. So it's a fulfilling job because you get to interact with everyone from the top management to right up to the laborers on the field. So it's a fulfilling job, and knowing that a project was executed without any fatality. I will always tell my team, if we delay in delivering a project, it might be remembered for just 3 or 4 months or so. But if somebody dies in a project, it will take a decade. They will know that somebody died in this project. So it gives you that sense of love to know that, people live because you exist. And more to that, safeguarding the company's reputation. So when you know that the company truly depends on you, it's a platform for you to be happy and do what you have to do. And of course, there are always challenges. In terms of, I faced a lot of challenges when I was taking the course from scratch in terms of language barriers. The UAE workforce, it's multicultural, from Arabic people, Hindi, Hudus. And I spoke none of these languages when I arrived in the UAE. So imagine me trying to give probably a safety instruction or conduct a training. It's not possible. So I had to adapt. I had to learn key safety words in those multiple languages. I had to train people through signs, videos, and demonstrations. But eventually, it works for me, and the challenge turns to be a strength. As well, we have cultural differences. Every nationality sees safety differently. Some believe if you have an injury or something happens to you, they believe it's God's will. Some believe protection is spiritual rather than practical. So as an HSC practitioner, I had to learn to communicate safety in a way that respects culture, but still enforce compliance. And not to talk of me starting from zero. When I arrived in the UAE, I had no background in safety. There were no platforms like that or like this that can give us a mentorship or a guide of career pathway. So it took me some time to adapt and even to get to this level. Now that we have platforms like this, it's an opportunity for you to engage and even move more faster. It took me some years to get to this level. But now that we have platforms and a whole community here and things, it's very easy for you to scale the ladder through these platforms. So as well, some of the challenges that comes in the field, it's pressure of responsibility. HSC is health and safety. It's a profession where one mistake can cost a life. One wrong decision can damage the reputation of a company. So at every point in time, everyone is looking at the health and safety practitioner or professional, that he holds the company's safety, the people that comes to work and the people that goes back. So that pressure, that responsibility is on your shoulders, knowing that you have 5,000 people in a project working, and your mind is, how are these people gonna do what they have to do and go back home safely? So there's pressure as well. But these responsibilities shape me into a disciplined, proactive, and a cautious leader as well. So I'll be giving some tips for aspiring HSC professionals, people that wish to take this pathway. So I'll be giving them some tips, what you need. You know, we live in a world that is advancing at a breathtaking speed. Technology evolving, industries transforming, and the global workforce is becoming more dynamic than ever before. From artificial intelligence and robotics to energy, mega infrastructure projects, every sector is pushing the boundaries of innovation. But as the world moves forward, one truth remains unchanged. Every advancement brings new risks. Every advancement brings new risks. And for this reason, health and safety has never been more important than it is today. So this is a profession that plays a vital role across wide range of industries, be it in the oil and gas, be it in aviation, be it in construction, be it in manufacturing, logistics, healthcare, marine. They are in need of health and safety professionals. And it's not based on sex. You can be a man or a woman. I mean, you are free to do some of these courses and get yourself a better life. So it's a career that I can encourage people that, I mean, from a standard or like O level, you can write some of these exams as NEBOSH International General Certificate. You can get them. It's very easy, and get yourself something very good. And some people always ask about the salary range. For a beginner, I think this averagely you can get, if I can convert it to CFA, maybe from 600,000 to 700,000 per month, just for a beginner. So you can imagine that is, I know the UK and Canada, US, they have taxes, but over here in the UAE, I mean, that's the one that gets to your pocket, 600 to 700,000. Not to talk of now a professional, so which can be from maybe 2 million or 3 million, like without taxes. So I'll just give you some 5 clear stages to follow that you can follow to get to the top most part, starting from a beginner and getting to an expert level. So from stage 1, that is a beginner, you have to start building the foundation. I mean, and you can do that. Next slide, please. You can go for courses like OSHAD. They are online trainings that you can take some few hours to get them done. And from then, that is an entry level into health and safety. And from this beginner level, you can pick up a job. Even right from Cameroon, you can pick up a job. And the second stage is health and safety practitioner. That is you getting yourself now to register for NEBOSH International General Certification, and as well being able to do some technical courses like fire safety, incident investigation, risk assessment. All of these courses are available and at a very minimal price that you can engage in. And this, it can take 12 to 18 months, and it will open you a path to becoming a health and safety officer or a coordinator. And you can also take a role of an advisory, or can get an advisory role. So the third stage, now getting into the professional level, now you can now get some NEBOSH specialized courses, which will now further enhance yourself to be a professional. So stage 4 of this, being a senior professional, talking about now getting to NEBOSH International Diploma, and maybe you get some ISO lead courses, that is the management systems, and you can also get yourself certified. So you get to this senior professional course, which sometimes can take you almost 1 or 2 years. And now you can become a senior HSC manager, HSC lead, and probably a regional director. And the last stage is the stage 5, which now for expert, and now you have to get yourself certified either by the UK standard or the US standard as a safety professional. So at this level, you are at the peak of the ladder, which will now be like influencing industries, being a mentor to the next generations, the ones that are there to suggest new ideas regarding safety in the future. So it's a career path that is very swift. You know, when Dr. Valley was talking about 10, 15 years, I mean, just for some specialized courses that he took in the world of health and safety, if you are diligent enough, you can scale this in the next 5 to 10 years. You can scale all of this with an affordable, with a very comfortable salary. So the journey, I think on the graph, I will just show you a glance of from stage 1 to stage 5, which you can follow and get these courses and free. They are free. Some of them are even free. So what I have for you today is to let you know that this Cameroon, they don't really know much about this, but we are trying now to make our brothers back home to be able to know that there exists something called health and safety. So it's a privilege to have mentorship platforms like this. And as well, here in the UAE, we have such communities like the Cameroon UAE HSC group and other platforms where we help people, give them free mentorship programs. We offer trainings for young and aspiring professionals. And we also create opportunities for them to do internships. Because when I came to the nation and I wrote the health and safety course, there was nobody to help me to even get some of these things. But now we have these platforms and our brothers can enroll, get free mentorship, get free internship, and most often we support them in securing jobs here in the Middle East, completely free of charge. So no matter your level of education, you can enroll in these courses so long as you can read and write. I mean, there are platforms for you to grow and secure a job. I was also asked, how safe is the UAE or the Middle East? Where I am in Abu Dhabi, if you check, it's one of the most safest cities in the world. So it's as well in its safety standard. So you can also have a very comfortable life, especially when you get to the top of the ladder, that you have a work and a balanced life. Now, I will just give some few tips on how you can navigate your career pathway. Because I didn't have knowledge when I came to network, I will encourage you, do networking, build connection with professionals in your field, attend webinars like these, programs that are being given for you to grow in what you do. One thing again, I'll encourage you, continual learning. Now we live in the AI generation. Stay updated, get some AI tools and learn the trending technology. Now seeking mentorship. Find a mentor who can provide guidance and support and give you that you will be able to learn from their experience. So networking, continual learning, and mentorships are essential for your career growth. So these are just the things or techniques that you can get yourself a better standard of life. I've seen teachers who have left their profession into health and safety. I've seen a project manager. The last project I worked, the manager The HSC manager there was a former project manager. He decided to join health and safety. Like I said, in all walks of life, be it in aviation, in healthcare, in the marine, in construction, you can always find a place in health and safety. And it's not dependent on your degree, but the professional courses that I just listed that will help you build a career in health and safety. Because of time, I just had to brush on most of the items. And so your journey begins today. Take the first step and be confident. Thank you. I'll be expecting any question if you have. So that's what I have for you today. Any question, you can just, like the moderator, to just highlight the questions so that I can answer them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. Thank you very much. I think you just have praises in the chat. People have enjoyed the talk. I think you've covered a lot because our questions are coming up in my mind and you were answering them already. The salary, the pathway, the risk, I was very inspired with your talk, especially when you said not getting what you want can become the reason to get what you need. People meet hurdles, difficulties, and just give up at the first stage. But I think you're an inspiration to anybody trying to get, working through project at the moment, to know that don't give up, just keep pushing. And what I would like to know is your profession. Would you recommend somebody in Cameroon doing this profession in Cameroon?
Yes, there are safety professionals in Cameroon, but the structure and the system, it's not well positioned. So we in the UAE, we are trying to also reach out back to Cameroonians to help them get structure. Yes, get the structure, because most companies, it has not really been like legalized. They don't really put this into practice. So just few international companies in Cameroon will recruit health and safety professionals. So it's a field new to most African countries, which we are trying as a team here in the UAE to go back to the top management level to implement these things. Because when I visit Cameroon, I see the way people are working and doing, it's very, very unsafe and risky. So it's something new, which gradually Africans, Cameroon is embracing it because of the fast technology and the growth of people. People are getting knowledge and now they want safety as well.
I don't know what that means. I want to believe there are the courses in Cameroon that one can take to do the safety.
Yes, we have training institutions in Cameroon, but not renowned, just some few training institutions. So I can recommend them to you. And even in our mentorship platform through CAM UAE group, we have those platforms that we guide people even back home. And even because most of those courses, because of COVID, now it's online. You can do everything online, get those courses online. Just few are maybe on site. So everything you can register online, get your certification from accredited bodies, and you get yourself even start looking for jobs right from Cameroon. There are people that have left Cameroon with employment visa straight to the UAE.
And there are a few asking if they send you a request on LinkedIn for a connection request. Are you going to accept? So they'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn.
For sure.
Is that okay? Perfect. This has been amazing. I will go back to the first questions regarding Dr. Lewis's talk because we didn't ask them due to time. And so I will just quickly run through the burning questions for now. I think I've asked you questions and I've done those of Dr. Valentine Ngoa. So, Dr. Lewis, are you ready for your questions? Okay, in Europe, have you thought about being licensed in the USA?
Thank you for the
regarding
question.
Monifex and KeyBank.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the question. As of now, we are in conversation with partners, institutions in the US, to most of our customers who are based in the US. One thing that I don't make mention of was the fact that in the coming months, customers who have KeyBank accounts will be able to have multiple currency accounts on their KeyBank. For example, Madam Moderator, you in the UK, you should be able to have your GBP directly in your KeyBank, meaning that your salary or other payments could get directly into your KeyBank. You could just convert that and send it into CFA, or convert it and hold it into your account. That is going to be similar to other currencies, including US dollars and euros. So we are looking to start operation next year in the US and Canada, and also continental Europe.
Perfect. Okay, let me go to the next question very quickly. And so they say, what measures does KeyBank take to prevent and mitigate potential data breaches, given its online nature?
Okay. Yeah, that is a very sensitive question. Issues with security and data protection. We are fully compliant. We take GDPR issues very seriously. First and foremost, we have different layers of security. All our services are offered online. We are actually running our services from I think Amazon and Azure, Microsoft, and the data is actually encrypted and stored in a very safe server. No data is being distributed, shared with third party. And in addition to that, your KeyBank account is secured with 3 different layers of security. We've just added one more. So the first layer of security is your KeyBank app can only run on your one device, or your one device, a mobile phone. You can have it on multiple mobile phones. So we validate the device that your KeyBank is running from. Number 2, you have security code to log into a KeyBank account, which is a passcode. That's the second layer. So you can only get into a KeyBank using that passcode. And before you can get money outside of a KeyBank, meaning paying out from a KeyBank account, there's an additional layer, which is the authorization code for payout. We have just added an important layer. This important layer is having a withdrawal signature to your account, meaning you can add a third party who will protect withdrawal from your account. So for every single withdrawal that you want to perform, they will receive a notification to confirm that withdrawal. So it's a third party. It could be a family member who has to confirm that withdrawal before it leaves your account. Even if it is compromised, and if they don't confirm, a withdrawal will never take place from your account. So those are some of the security measures that we put in place to ensure that our customers' accounts are not being compromised, and in addition to the fact that we look seriously after the data of our customers.
Perfect. Thank you. How does Doc AI ensure data security and compliance with regulations like GDPR?
Oh, Doc AI is operating from the UK. It's a UK-based organization. We are in full compliance with every single data that we get through the platform. We are going to be registered with the Data Commission, or the Data Commission to ensure that we are in full compliance with every single activity that we carry. Every customer's data, of course, is still well protected under that same level of security that we're giving to other products that we have, like KeyBank and Monifex.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll just go to another burning question that I've missed. Just give me a second. I'm strolling through. So, how did you secure funding for your first business initiative? And what practical advice would you give to new entrepreneurs and early stage startups looking to raise capital today?
Um, this is one of the most difficult questions to deal with as an entrepreneur. The seed capital is always the most difficult one to raise. I'm going to talk from a general perspective, then I learn on where how I managed to secure investment. The first thing is you have to bootstrap it. You have to look for ways to do it. You have to do most of the things by yourself. You don't start by hiring people on day one. If you don't know how to write an email or compose an email, learn how to write one. If you don't know how to design, learn how to design. If you don't know how to create a poster, learn how to create a poster. If you don't know how to sell, learn how to sell. So you have to do everything on day one by yourself. Have so many hats. You are the CEO, you are CTO, you are everything. Then as soon as you start building and getting some traction, and it's a little bit of money, maybe customers start validating the idea that it's going to work. Then you could go to your friends and say, listen, guys, I'm doing this thing in my cash fire. What about you put a little bit of money on it? In my case, nobody believed me. They knew that I wasn't going to work. The question about Moneyfest was, there are so many remittance companies. How comes you think that you are going to be able to beat the like of WellRemit and by then TransferWise? It wasn't going to be possible if I were just going to rely on my friends. In my family, there was nobody there to also support me. So I had to bootstrap everything by myself. And eventually I had a friend, I had one of my friends who referred me to a friend who came in with a little bit of capital, but I was giving a lot of the company. We're giving about a third of the company just to secure a little bit of funding. And when they came on board, they wanted to take everything. They started demanding. When they saw traction, they said, no, okay, this thing is now catching a little bit of fire. Give us more shares. So it became a whole lot of argument back and forth up to the extent that they had to leave the company. So the one thing that I have to say is start small. Don't think about raising money. If you think raising money is the ultimate goal, of course, you would do that as soon as you gain traction. But for a start, try and get customers, get paying customers, get customers who already start giving you some money. Once you have customers who are giving you money, validating the idea, there are so many individuals out there who are happy to give you, make a small investment into the venture. But there's one thing that I'm going to guarantee you, you're going to take a lot of the business. You're not going to give it for free. You're going to take a lot of it for it. So start small. Get traction. You must gain traction. You must get people who are ready to pay for this service. You must get people who are ready to pay for a product. Once you have them, you have that on your database, then you can start looking for money. Getting the first customer might take a few days, few months, few weeks, a year. But if you believe in the idea, you just keep going. The other option is you have to work part-time and work part-time on your dream. Which is something that I did. Majority of the time, I ended up selling on eBay, trying to raise money through all other means. That's how I managed to raise my own capital. So again, do all what you can as long as you believe in the dream and you are gaining traction.
Perfect. So last question. There are many more, but I think I'll do the last for you. Can you convert money from Moneyfex to MTN Momo?
Convert money from Moneyfex? No, Moneyfex is a remittance company, meaning you can send money from the UK into an MTN account in Cameroon.
Yes.
From Moneyfex. However, you can also send money from Moneyfex into a key bank account, which is a CFA denominated account, and then you can transfer that money into Momo or Orange or to another key bank account holder. So the money sitting in your key bank account could be spent locally. You don't need any form of conversion because you do conversion with maybe, for example, pounds into ZAF, into CFA, or euros into CFA using Moneyfex. So Moneyfex is the exchange house that exchanges pounds into CFA or euros into CFA. But when you do that, you are sending directly into a Momo account number or MTN number Orange. That money is gone once you send it to the recipient. What we brought on board in the name of KeyBank is that stop point where you send to your own KeyBank account. I say, oh, let the money stay in my KeyBank account. Then I should be able to pay that at my own convenience. For those that are in Cameroon, they can add money to their KeyBank account using MTN and Orange as well by just going into the KeyBank app and tap add money to my account. It will connect to your own Momo wallet and money will move from there after validation into a KeyBank account.
Okay. So did you use any mentorship in your journey to become this multi-entrepreneur?
Okay. Yes, I did. There are not so many of them available. I was fortunate that my university directed me to a mentor who guided me at the early stage. Let me give you this story. Whenever you have an idea, there's that honestly believe that is going to work. You say, I have this wonderful idea that is going to change money transfer forever. And I went to them. I said, oh, they said, how much or what is the value of the idea? I said, $1.5 million. And it has $1.5 million. Do you have customers? I said, no. How many of you are in your team? I say, I'm just myself. Have you finished building the product? I say, we are still building it. And he said, how on earth did you come up with a valuation of $1.5 million? So you know that honestly believe. And this was a conversation that I had with the surgery at the level of the university. So, okay, right now, the good thing is that you finish your PhD here. We are going to send you to a mentor, someone who is going to guide you through that process. The first recommendation for my mentor was, right now, you are a sole entrepreneur. You are on your own. People are not going to believe you. Start by building your team. You've already started the process of building the platform, the remittance platform. Build a team. Get some few individuals who believe in you. You might give them some shares of your business or get them to come on board, pay them a little bit and give them shares. Let them be there guiding you. They'll take away. The reason for the team is not just that they're coming on board to work. They'll take off some of the pressure from you. You don't want to do everything by yourself. You don't want to wake up in the morning, okay, I have to do the emails. Or you don't want to do all the thinking by yourself. The most important one is the thinking. You don't want to think everything by yourself. But as soon as you have a team, the next thing is, how do you keep them together? Coordinate them. Because at first, you're just being driven by passion. The knowledge is lacking. The experience is lacking. But as soon as you have a team, then it becomes a collective effort where, okay, they might not have experience, you might not have experience, but you have an idea. Then they might help you in order to push it forward. So, just to cut it short, number one, you are passionate about something. Passion alone is not going to give a business. Passion will give a business if it's something that people are willing to pay for it. If they're willing to pay for it, then you can get a team. Once you get a team of individuals, you might not be able to pay them. Give them a share. Give them a little bit of share. I say, listen, guys, I'm trying this thing. Come in as a co-founder. I'm happy to give you 15% of the business. Having 75% of a business that is worth 1 million is better than having 100% of a business that is worth less than 1 million. So get individuals in, own a little bit of it, and it becomes an easy process for you. So mentors, get a mentor. In addition to that, it might be very difficult to even get a mentor. I was lucky to have someone from the university to speak to me, to guide me in the process. You could look for role models. There are so many of them online. You just read what they are doing. Go to LinkedIn, try to follow them. Read what they do every single day. To end up, this guy said something to me, which I still live with it up to now. He said, if a guy has a funny look like him, I become rich. If he has a funny way of movement, walk like him, I become rich. The most important thing is try to be like him. Just try to model whatever he's doing and you'll be okay. Right. So these things, they do come up every now and then. And then the last nugget, which I'm going to drop for tonight, if someone is already doing something that you want to do, try to take them out for dinner or for lunch. Just be around them. If they're playing football somewhere, just go and sit around them and just see what they are doing. You could learn one or two things from the way they act, the way they behave. There is no way success comes by accident. It comes as a result of coordinated activities that you undertake every single day. From Dr. What he said to Wilson, it's the same story, the same thing that we are saying, that listen, work hard but smart. Thank you.
Good, great. Dr. Valentine Gua, and Dr. Valentine Gua, there is a question that I think is very clinical. I don't know if this is the platform for you to answer that. I don't know if you've seen it on the chat from Eben.
Yeah. What's that?
It says, what's the most effective approach to managing polypharmacy in elderly patients with multiple comorbidities? I think that sounds more like and how can the prescribing be implemented safely and effectively in this population? So that's more of a very technical question.
It is. I must say, I'm most thankful for that question, because it is the who asked that question sounds like somebody who knows what he's talking about. I will
Definitely
put
knows.
in a nutshell. This is where collaborative work is very important, and I've mentioned that before. We work with our clinical pharmacists to assess whether a patient needs certain medications or not. And there are various guidelines in the UK that actually points us towards this. I will not bore the audience with these guidelines because I said they're very technical, but it is an important aspect of elderly care practice. Many patients were started on medications when they were younger, maybe in their 40s and 50s, and they carry that forward. But as they go older, as their physiology changes, they don't really need those medications. Actually, those medications could be harm to them. We need to identify those medications and try and withdraw them. And in the UK, there's a big movement for that. And if you go online and put this deprescribing.org, you'll see that big movement in the US as well. We work with our clinical pharmacists collaboratively to identify this. But this takes me back to what my lecturer told me when I was in medical school. He said, the day you know you are a good doctor is when you don't prescribe two medications for a patient. And that's where we are moving nowadays, to say many of the medications that we're prescribing are not actually very necessary. They could actually cause harm, and we should look at other ways of maintaining health. And I'll end this with this. There's something in sociology called the healthy migrant theory. So people coming from, well, maybe not now with all the things happening in Africa, but going back 10 to 20 years, people coming from Africa are actually more healthier than people who are in the West. We can trace that with the foods they eat and the lifestyle they live or whatever. But if you go back to those foods and lifestyle and stuff, then many of the things that we're getting, we can actually avoid them. So I can see where everyone is coming from, and I agree with him. This deprescribing is a big issue, and we're working with our clinical pharmacists to try and do that.
Amazing to this panelist. I think it's been very interactive, this session. There were two key persons to this to conduct UK who were absent at the beginning, who are present here, that I would like to introduce. I spoke about Dr. Dr. Asa Konkwo, who is the guide. He birthed this project of mentorship, and he's been leading many of the webinars. And I would like to introduce him if he's on. Yeah, I would like him to have a word if our broadcaster can put him on. Yes, I can hear you. We just need your video on. Can it be spotlighted, please, Paddy? The audience can't see you. So briefly, 2 lines, Chief.
initiative, we are going to record them, and after approval by CamDoc editorial policy, we're going to share them with various platforms. Some on our website, camdocuk.org website. But it's going to also be circulated to universities in Cameroon, with like what we've been doing in the previous sessions. Because increasingly we are realizing that they're being used to also orientate students in higher education in Cameroon. So this is more from the point of view of news. And then also the final point is anyone who would like to address a particular career that we've not featured so far, and even one that we featured in the past, and they would like some particular aspect of it to be looked into again, please just approach CamDoc UK, international@camdocuk.org. That's the email address. And then we'll be able to see how the mentorship committee will look at what point they can reschedule that. And just to say that finally, December is there will not be any session because people are traveling various across the globe, but they were back again in January. And January we are looking at addressing agricultural economics, where Professor Fonsa will be joining us from Atlanta in the USA. Professor Fonsa, for those who may not know, was the chief executive of Del Monte in Cameroon. He's now a professor in Atlanta. We also have McDonald Atem, who is actually an expert in cybersecurity. He'll be joining us. And thirdly, the third panel, again, we're back to Abu Dhabi. This time we are having a lady who is actually a lecturer, a teacher in the secondary school in Mrs. Fonge. She'll be joining us in January. So we are going to pause things over Christmas and wishing everybody a wonderful Christmas. But then we're back in January, where we're going to address this trip with Greg Fonsa, McDonald Atem, and we're going to have Betty Fonge, who actually be the panelists at that time. I maybe I just came up with the idea, but the work is being done by a fantastic team, as we've seen today. We have Dr. Anna Bene, we have Dr. Eugenie Mempo, and a lot of people, those who join in, some as moderators, as the whole thing unfolds, and wonderful idea now being brought in by Delhi TV. They gave me 2 lines, and I'm waffling on forever. This is one topic which I'm very passionate about. So I go back quickly to Dr. Anna Bene. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chief. Last but not the least, we have our chairperson who is present in this webinar, and she's been very active on the chat. So we'll just call on Dr. Linda Bello to give a closing remark to this webinar. Linda, are you ready? Tadi, can you highlight her, please? Yeah, we can hear you. We're just waiting for the TV channel to highlight you, because I think that there's a bit of delay. Paddy King, just keep talking. I think they'll pick you up.
With everything that Dr. Chief Asa has said. On behalf of CamDoc, we can't thank him enough for actually coming up with this mentorship program. And it's really gone from strength to strength. And watching today, it's really a testament to how far we've come. I want to thank all the panelists for their really insightful presentations, and my thanks to Dr. Lewis for really spotlighting this today on Daily TV. We're really grateful, and long may it continue. Thank you for all giving up your Sunday evenings. We've been on for over a couple of hours, and you guys have stayed and you've listened. And as Dr. Chief said, it is going to be on our YouTube channels. We're going to share it. It's going to be on the CamDoc website. And that's it, really. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anna, for your amazing moderation. Thank you, Eugenie. I have to highlight Uncle Val, as we call him, our CamDoc members. Thank you. Really, all of this, people might think CamDoc is an association with many, many people. There's just about 100 of us, but all the things that we've been doing are testament to all the people you can see behind the scenes, and they're the same people that are always there. So I want to thank all of them again, and thank you, everyone. Good evening and good night.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much. Thank you to our amazing panelists. And I think I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning because we started late. And we'd like to thank Collins also, who's been at the background helping a lot. Thank you very much, Collins. So I am Dr. Anna Mbenenga, and I am the Treasurer and Communication Secretary of CamDoc UK. And I think this webinar has come to a close. If our panelists want to stay back for a debrief, we'll be very grateful. Thank you all very much, and have a good evening and a good start of the week.
What if one sentence could change the way you work forever? You're not lazy, you're just tired of doing everything the hard way. Deadlines pile up, clients push harder, and somehow the freedom you dreamed of keeps slipping away. Until one day, you discover a new kind of power, one that multiplies your time instead of stealing it. That's when you realize it's not about the tool, it's about the prompt.
Act as my creative director. Design a logo for a sustainable brand.
The book, Prompt and Profit with ChatGPT, reveals the RTCO system, a framework that turns words into leverage, prompts into profits, and ideas into income. Created by Dr. Louis Anageku, entrepreneur and strategist behind global AI-powered teams. These are real freelancers using 100 proven prompts that save hours, impress clients, and multiply income. Your next big opportunity is just a prompt away. Stop working harder, start prompting smarter. Get your copy of Prompt and Profit with ChatGPT on Amazon or Booku.com. Your journey starts now. No more time to waste.
What if your next transfer could fly you home to Cameroon? Prince has already won our iPhone 16 giveaway with MoneyFX.
I just received my iPhone from Amazon. You can see it's still set. Okay, let me just open and then we'll see. There you go. It's my brand new iPhone.
Now it's your turn to win an £800 round-trip flight ticket to Cameroon. Every £100 or €100 you send with MoneyFX gives you one entry into the draw. The more you send, the higher your chances, and you still enjoy better exchange rates and faster transfers. Send now with MoneyFX for your chance to win. MoneyFX, send smarter, send with love.